Have you ever wondered what life is like without guidance? Imagine wandering alone, lost, exposed. Psalm 23 shows us we don't have to. Earlier today, I had a profound moment of reflection while meditating on Psalm 23. As I sat with the words, they stopped being familiar verses and began to come alive. Each line unfolded with depth, revealing not poetry alone, but truth shaped by experience. We all come to know God through different encounters. Some know Him as a protector, others as a healer, and others as a comforter in seasons of loss. But for David, his understanding of God was shaped by something deeply personal. He did not describe God as a king or a judge. He called Him a shepherd. David understood this relationship intimately because before he was a king, he was a shepherd himself. He knew what sheep are like. He knew their weaknesses, their fears, and what happens to a sheep without guidance. A sheep without a shepherd does not find fulfillment. It wanders, it eats poorly, it becomes restless, exposed, and vulnerable, not because it is evil, but because it lacks direction. David understood that without a shepherd, a sheep's life is marked by frustration, hunger, and constant danger. And through Psalm 23, he reveals a sobering truth. A human life without God's guidance is no different. Without God, we wander from relationship to relationship, from desire to desire, hoping something will finally satisfy us. Without God, even abundance feels empty. Without God, success becomes exhausting and peace remains distant. This is why David begins with confidence, not fear. He does not say, "The Lord might be my shepherd." He declares, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." When God leads, lack loses its power. When God guides, confusion fades. When He becomes shepherd, striving comes to an end. Christ confirms this truth when He says, "I am the good shepherd," not a distant guide, not a silent observer, but a shepherd who knows his sheep by name. He knows our desires before we give them language. He understands our needs before we even feel them. He does not merely react to our pain, He leads us away from it. He leads us into green pastures, not barren ground, beside still waters, not constant chaos. He restores our soul, not just our circumstances. God's guidance affects every area of life. He leads us into relationships that bring growth, not destruction. He directs us away from paths that look appealing but end in regret. He provides not just enough to survive, but to live with joy. Even when the path leads through the valley, the shepherd does not disappear. The valley does not mean abandonment, it means proximity. It is there that His rod and staff bring comfort, correction, and protection. David knew this because he had carried a rod himself. It was not a weapon of cruelty, but a tool of care. Correction is never meant to harm the sheep, but to save it. Psalm 23 does not promise that life will be easy, it promises that life will be guided. It does not say danger will vanish, but fear will lose its authority. To trust God as shepherd is to surrender the illusion of control. It is to stop running ahead and stop lagging behind. It is to walk in step with His leading. And like a sheep resting under the watchful eye of its shepherd, our souls finally find peace, not because the world is quiet, but because we are no longer alone.